What is up, everybody? This is your boy AJTRIP, and welcome to the Big Brother Week in Review, Week 3. And where we left off with Frenchie and Brittany on the block of Kylan's HOH last week. And of course, when it came to the live show, Frenchie was evicted. Almost unanimously, only Derek Elf gave him a vote, and he was evicted from the house. Then we had the HOH, and everybody's target was Brent. They wanted Brent out, and he went ahead and they had the knockout, knockout competition. Well, it's a knockout. So he got it wrong. He had to step down. Xavier somehow he won it. I first thought he was trying to throw it, but he said in his DRs that he was trying to go for it. He was trying to win this. So yes, everybody else threw it. Some people threw it. And Hannah and Derek X apparently threw it, and other people got it wrong. So he was HOH. The first time in the history of this game where two black people were HOH back to back. I think it might actually be the first time there's been two black people head of household in the season, probably since I don't even know. It would either have to be season 12 or season 13. With Kalia may have won it twice. She may have won it twice, or not. It probably goes back to maybe even All Stars or Danielle, or it goes back a long way. I did not check it before I turned on the game. But yeah, I mean it is something that it is like it took a long way for, and Kylan was the first black male to win it, in a long time as well. So it's something else. And some people are wondering like why was that? Why did that take so long? Well, a lot of seasons didn't have a black man. Oh no, he was the first black man since Devin to win it in brother 16. So when people ask why was that so long, well, the black guys who were on the show sucked. David, the last 2 years, he sucked. He wasn't a good house guest. The other ones, they didn't have black house guests. They had black women on the show. They didn't have black men. And that's a whole nother thing, whole other story with the cookout and everything like that. I think I may have talked about this last week. It's just, and I really have to be honest. It is really ruining my enjoyment of this season, because we had people this season who were willing to play the game. They play the game the way they would give it, in teams. Some people really want to play with these teams, which is fun, but it would be cool. But we got this underlying cookout thing, and it's just, Big Brother should never ever put these many black people in the house ever again, because and the way they're doing it is just it's so sickening. It really is, and it's people ask, why is it sickening? Why can't the black people get together? I would actually probably be okay if it was 3. If it was like 3, my favorite 3 I think are Xavier, Kylan, and Hannah. So we can take Tiffany out, needs to go, and Derek Elf needs to go as well. So if it was just Xavier, Kylan, and Hannah, and it was just those 3, and those 3 said, well, we're just like last year apparently, it was Bailey, Devon, and David, right? fine. That was, then that's cool. That's an underlying thing, and that can stay, that can stay under wraps. But with it being 6, it's 3 things, right? It's 3 things. One, it's virtually almost half the house. With 16 players, and OC thing, that's virtually. It just so then that's half the house, and Big Brother knew what they was doing. He did. Big Brother knew what they were doing. Putting 6 black people in the house, knowing what has happened in the past for this show. They knew. They knew that this was that they did this in hopes that they can finally have their first black winner, a Big Brother. That's what they did, and they want that out of the way so that people will stop talking about it. And I may have mentioned this in last week's video, so I don't know if I want to repeat myself, but it's just. It really does take away my enjoyment to see this. It really does. And some people may say, well, as a black person, isn't that, don't you want to see that? I want to see a black person win, but I want to see a black person win by doing it, by doing it the way it should be done. And that's being a part of an alliance that is, dominant, having a great resume. My thing is, I just think when you have these many black people, and especially the way they decided to play, Tiffany comes come up with this grand scheme of everybody to have their own player. X is gonna have Alyssa, and she's gonna have Claire, and Heiden's gonna have Sarah Beth, and Hannah's gonna have Derek X, and Oz is gonna have Brittany, and Derek F is gonna have somebody. And so they're all going to have their guy, and their guy or their girl that they are close with, their final 2, whatever you want to say, and then and that's how they're going to keep it, and that's how they're going to keep it under wraps of being the 6, of it being the 6, but see that would be that is actually a great strategy. It's a great strategy. It's a great plan. Actually, if the fact was just that if it wasn't just a cookout, and there's gonna be one black person, bringing along somebody else. That's just, it sickens me because it fuels this divide of white versus black. That's what it fuels the divide of white versus black, and I just think that's something that we just need to get rid of, and this continues it. So, I can tell I'm not gonna like this season. I'm gonna continue to watch it, but I'm not gonna like this season. I'm not gonna like who wins, because the person who wins is gonna be someone who's undeserving, more than likely. And we're gonna have, and the first black winner in this game is gonna be somebody who did nothing. Who did nothing to deserve to win. They're just going to be one of the last people standing. Especially if it ends up being one white person and one black person, and there's 5 black people in jury. They're just going to vote for the black person, even though the white person may have been better. So I'm gonna have to try to get over it, but I just can't. I really need. That's why I'm kind of hoping for Alyssa or Christian. Yeah, because I think Alyssa and Christian, they would go after one of the people in the cookout. They were, unknowingly knowing that they're not together, but they would go after like Ozzy and Hannah, and they've been talking about that. So that's what I'm hoping for, a Christian or Alyssa, maybe even a Whitney, because I think Whitney may go after Ozzy, because she don't think, she doesn't like the fact Ozzy is playing the game personal. So even Whitney, I definitely want Whitney, because I want Whitney, and I need Whitney to be safe. You can't have Ozzy stay longer than Whitney, please. I'm already dealing with shit over on Island, where these dudes who are just blind as a bat, they're keeping their trying to date Cachet when there's all these other sexy women on the show, and she's a fucking sea donkey. It doesn't make any sense, but yeah, let's not keep Ozzy over Whitney. Let's throw Ozzy away. Get her off my TV. So at least one show will get me one of those people. But yeah, it is what it is. So let me get back to what's going on this week. They wanted Brent out, so X came up with this plan. And on one hand, I can see why, but on the other hand, it really didn't work. He wanted to put up Brent and put up Brittany as a way of, saying that he was going after the girls' alliance that Brent thinks is in the house, and that Brittany tried to start or as a part of, and Brent thinks that because of friendship. He wanted to do that, but it didn't make any sense. It really didn't make any sense to do it that way, because Brent was going to figure out, and when Xavier told him, he told him, listen, I'm going to be a target. I'm too much of a threat. I'm going to be a target. And Brent knew that. Well, X did it anyway. Even one time when X told Ozzy that he was going to do that, Ozzy actually put up on the block, and he really, for my enjoyment, he should have put her on the block. So maybe there could have been some type of thing, but it wasn't. The cops wasn't going to do that to Brittany. They might have done that to Ozzy. They might have turned on Ozzy. She may have made him went crazy, but he put Brent up there, and everybody in the house wanted it, and everybody in the house has just been acting like they've been doing such a great acting job, and they've been turning Brent. And at one point, I really thought, this is Brent, and Brent may have, he may be arrogant to think he is. He may be full of himself, has a big ego, yada yada yada. Maybe he just said some things that maybe some of the girls don't like, made them feel maybe a certain way, anything like that. Okay, whatever, fine, right? But the fact that they are just going over the top and trying to, get this man, get this man out of the house by just lying to him, and they just keep saying, it's to the point where he's on these DRs saying that he get this, it's going to be a piece of cake. It's going to be the biggest blindside for Xavier in the history of Big Brother, and he's saying all these things, and that goes to his arrogance and his ego. But if you have any type of sympathy, any type of, you gotta feel bad. You gotta feel bad for the dude, because it's just it's not what it's not the way it's supposed to be. It really isn't, and this feels like in Big Brother 16. I understand Devin was a loose cannon, and Devin, when he was going back and forth and things like that, and he had a weird 2 or 3 weeks of thing in that house. But I always say probably the most two despicable things to ever happen in that house came that season, came on Devin's week when doing the veto competition, and Devin lost, and all of the people stood up and cheered. that was so sickening. And then when he was evicted, they went, and evicted, they went running and cheering when he got evicted, and it was so fucking sickening. It really did. It really does piss me off, and that's how this feels. This feels in a different way like that. This feels that kind of disrespect. The way it is one thing for a blind side to happen, and it is another thing. And it is another thing to like to almost do the blind side where you're actively trying to hurt. It almost feels like you're trying to actively hurt this person's feelings, and that's what this feels like. This feels so personal that you are actively trying to hurt Brent's feelings by doing it this way. That it's a big turnoff. It really is. It really is, and it has been, and it was not good for me, and I don't think it has been. I don't think it has been the right thing that they have been doing. I really haven't. I don't think that's the right thing for them to do. I apologize if as I'm looking away. I apologize for looking away. Something popped up on the TV screen that caught my attention. I apologize for that, but yeah, and it was just it's just mean spirited. I think this is a game. It should be a game, and that's the way it should be. I understand maybe taking something personally, and like I was telling somebody on Twitter, the blind sides is one thing for blind sides. The blind sides are not to be taken personally. Like I take it, like you go on. I talked about like the blind sides from Big Brother 20, right? Like Steve and then Winston. Those were blind sides that weren't supposed to be, they weren't personally. Now, I think Winston took it personally because he couldn't believe it because people, talked to him. But that wasn't personal. It was for game reasons, right? The Rachel one was a little bit personal, especially with Angela. I just, whatever. It was totally just about, it was totally just, this one is personal, and it's been personal. It's been personal for virtually almost everybody. Virtually almost everybody has, has personal. It took to make this personal, and told him, you're safe. I can't believe you did that. Yada yada yada, and it's just. And apparently last night, from where I was reading, twice Derek F on purpose and Christian accidentally mentioned that Brent is leaving, and there's been some talk that the Aces were going to tell Brent that he was going to be going before the show anyway. But still, that it's. I just haven't liked the way this has gone down for Brent, and I feel kind of sad for him. We saw last night on the TV show with DeVito, they did Bull Arena. Christian won. On the other day, it was a Saturday when they came back from doing it. They did it on Saturday. You can see that people were tired. Derek F was laid out. Brent was laid out. There was some other people that were kind of like things. I don't know how hot it was on Saturday in California or what it was, but yeah, there was some. They were laid out, and that's because Brent went back when Brent went back to back when Derek F went back to back, so they were, they couldn't do it. So, but Christian won power veto. He did not use it. Brittany and Brent is on the block. Apparently, Brittany did a rap. Really fine for being so upset that she's on the block, but We know she's autistic, so she may have more feelings about it than anyone. Normally, I'd probably be agreeing with people about her being so upset and her, you know, that she's on the block, and she's made some comments this week about she wants an apology and she wanted to be a little bit of it, but I think more forgiving of her because she is autistic. Her feelings are, you know, could be a certain way. So probably a little bit more that to her. Some of these other, I really wish some of these other fans really would be. Christian and Alyssa, I think, made it official. They've been kissing. They were even caught by Xavier kissing on his bed. I think they made it official that they are a showmans. I think so. Want to ruin their games, but they really should. Is Xavier and Whitney? They've been cuddling up several times this week, and we just need to go ahead and make it official. Get that down. That's what she needs. She needs you, Xavier. She needs you in her life. So go ahead, Xavier. Go ahead, Whitney. Get together. Get it on together. Get it down. And really, I talked about earlier about the cookout, things like that. But we've really seen there are some cracks in the foundation. Derek F isn't really fond of Tiffany. I feel like Azza isn't really fond of Tiffany. Tiffany isn't really fond of Azza. You know, everybody except pretty much Hannah. No, everybody except Xavier, I should say. It's kind of like kept kept Hannah at an arm's pace when it comes to the cookout. It's even in the fact that, you know, the TV show doesn't even put her on the, doesn't put her like as a member of the cookout. You know, I was as if she does again. It's almost like that, as if that thing is that just because for whatever reason, that's because she's half black. You know, she doesn't count, but of course she does. You know, just because her last name is an Indian last name doesn't mean that she's not black. You know, that's if she tells you I'm half black. You know, then yeah. So, for those like me who kind of want this cookout thing to kind of just end, there are some cracks there, and there are some cracks in the foundation, and I think some of the people are I think they could be okay with letting some people go, you know, depending on who that person is. And that's why I'm saying, I mentioned earlier, I'm hoping that Alyssa or Christian or Whitney would, you know, one of those three would win, because I really do think Hannah and Azza, you know, they would be nominated, and I think they would go, because I think, and obviously what you need to do is that you need to put two of them on the block, because the other one is going to have 5 votes to stay. The other one's going to have 5 votes to stay. So let's even say if it's, you know, and out of those other 5, they can convince one of their people to vote to keep, you know, and that's when I think that's when the cookout will be exposed. I think the cookout will be exposed is when when you have like if Alyssa does win, and if Alyssa does nominate, let's just say if she were to nominate, you know, maybe not Alyssa, but maybe Sarah Beth, because I think Sarah Beth would maybe be that one where she would nominate Hannah and Claire, right? Hannah and Claire would be on the block. She would nominate those two, and when people start going up to her and saying, you know, and she started observing, all the black people are saying Hannah should stay, you know, and then she takes that back to, you know, says that to other people, and they start thinking about it. Well, yeah, there's an alliance there, you know, and then find so make sure it does go home. Hopefully, at the very least, one of those two can get it so that one of them, particularly Hannah, can go on the block, and they, and then they can and we'll get what I hate. We'll get white people versus black people, but we'll expose the cookout, and maybe people will start realizing we need to start taking people out. This is a very fluid alliance. There is there, and if they are going to together just they're black, then we need to get rid of them. We got to get rid of them. So hopefully that does happen. All right, I'm not gonna did I forget anything else I wanted to talk about? I don't think I did. So let's just go end this video. Post your comments down below. Tell me what you guys think. Let me know what you guys thought about this week. Who do you guys want to go? I'm pretty sure all of you guys want Brent to go. And how did you feel about this week? Who do you want to win HOH? Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. It's your boy AJTRIP signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out.